Hello, and welcome to another one of our Bible stories. Do you have a friend you like to share things with? Isn't it good to have a friend you can trust? Today's story is about a man called Abraham who learned to trust God. Now let's open the book at the story called God's Friend. Abraham was rich. He had lots of servants to do his work for him. He had lots of camels and sheep, and he lived with his wife in a very nice place called Haran. One day, God spoke to Abraham. "I want you to leave Haran," he said, "because I have a better place for you to live in." Now, Abraham might have said something like, "Where?" or "How far?" or "Thank you very much, but I'm quite happy here." But he didn't. In fact, he said nothing at all. He just gathered up his wife and his servants and his camels and his sheep and went where God led them. Why? Because Abraham trusted God. It was simple as that. Canaan was the name of the place where God led Abraham. A land flowing with milk and honey is what some people called it, which means that there were many cows and goats and bees there, and plenty of flowers and grass for the animals to eat. It was altogether a pretty place, even nicer than Haran, and Abraham liked it very much. The only problem was that Abraham had no children, and besides that, both he and his wife Sarah were very old. Grandpa and Grandma are old, and maybe even older than that. But Abraham trusted God. So one night God said to him, "Abraham, look up. Do you see the stars? One day you'll have so many children and great-grandchildren that counting the stars will be an easy job compared with counting them. Now, Abraham, look down. Do you see the ground? One day there will be more members of your family than there are bits of earth on that ground." What did Abraham do? He chuckled, ha ha. That's what. He giggled, hee 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 hee. He chortled, ha 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 ha. And he laughed, ha 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 ha. "Me and my wife have children," he cackled. "We're much too old for that." But God wasn't joking. "You will indeed have a son," he said, "and through your family you will do something wonderful for the world." So Abraham trusted God, and it wasn't long before God sent 3 messengers to visit him. Abraham was very kind to them. He washed their feet, which was the polite thing to do in those days. Then he served them some fresh baked bread and a creamy beef stew. It was delicious. And as the visitors were patting their tummies and wiping their mouths, they said, "We will be back next year, and when we return, Sarah will give birth to a son." Someone giggled, hee hee hee. Someone chortled, ho 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 ho. Someone laughed, hee 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 hee. But it wasn't Abraham this time. It was Sarah, who had been listening in the tent nearby. And the next year, when God's promise came true and the baby was born, there was laughter again. So much laughter, in fact, that laughter is what they decided to call their son. For that is what the name Isaac means. So God's promise to his friend Abraham came true. He did have children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and Abraham was glad that he trusted God. Now close your eyes and think of a good friend you can trust. Now I'm going to say a prayer. If you want to make it your prayer, say Amen at the end. Dear God, thank you for friends we can laugh with and friends we can trust. Thank you that Abraham trusted you and was called a friend of God. Help us to understand what it means to trust you and be a friend of God too. Amen. Amen. Thank you for listening. I look forward to bringing you another story soon. God bless you all. Keep safe and well. Until next time. Goodbye for now.